Mm-hmm.
It's turtle time again, motherfuckers, and you know what that means. There's some teenagers with misplaced aggression and poor parents who are about to get their fucking teeth kicked in by turtle feet.
That's the problem with Gen Z. Nobody's beating them to death in the streets.
Steve, was you the one that sent us that video of that guy? He basically, it's that mockumentary where he claims to have been one of the Foot Clan kids back in the day.
Yeah, but it's quite good.
I
I
think I've seen that one.
Oh my god,
it's in the chat
like,
somewhere.
Yeah, it's this YouTube video. It's like this short. It's like one guy talking to the camera, and he claims it's like 30 years after the fact. He's like, he's a 40 whatever year old man. And he was like, yeah, me and my buddy Mikey, we totally got these purple pajamas, and it cuts into the original Ninja Turtles like live action movie. Like, yeah, that was me right there. Yeah, like that was my friend. Yeah, he's so dumb now. He got hit so hard he can't even like walk straight. You know, shit like that. It is very funny.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. But also, who are you guys?
I'm a badass. No, hey everybody, MK Gibson, author of such books as Technomancer and To Beat the Devil and Villains Rule and a bunch of other stuff. And I'm just here to kick some shell.
Yeah, Steve Wetherell here, author of books such as Everyone You Love Will Be Eaten by Wolves. And if there's a game that lets me beat up teenagers en masse, I'm going to play it.
And I am Drew Hayes, author of book series such as Superpowered's Villains Code and 5 Minute Sherlock, the latest of which, The Case of the Felonious Fair, is now available in ebook and print. So feel free to go check that out. The audiobook is already out. Has been for over a year now. Things got weird on the timing. Anyway, let's go fight some teens dressed as ninjas. Steve, Gibby said we left off on the alligator one. This might be a repeat, but we're gonna do it again anyway. It's a fun one.
It was episode, this was episode 9. This is the one we left off on.
I like that clarification. Not even necessarily trade ninjas, just teenagers dressed as ninjas.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a lot of training going on in the old 90s cartoon. I mean, yes, they did have training, but like that came after you signed up. It wasn't like a prerequisite.
Here's a pack of cigarettes. Go fight that other teenager for an hour.
So does Casey not use? This is my first time using Casey. Does he not use his thing? He just slides in and kicks things.
Well, I mean, they're probably he's using a bat. What are you talking about?
My main attack button is like he comes in the kick and then he breaks out his weapons. Okay, I was like, man, that's really
Well, you get more combos unlocked as you level up. Yeah, so I'm guessing he'll get a little more creative as we go. I guess I probably should have started a level 1 character too. I didn't really notice y'all both had restarted.
Well, I fancy the change of pace, and I realized you can make the turtles cool by taking away the pupils of their eyes.
Yeah, you did. You picked the coolest Leonardo.
Fortunately, he is level 0, so I will be getting my ass kicked quite a lot.
It's not a high bar with Leonardo, but you know.
Oh yeah, there's going to be like a new Turtles movie, right? An R-rated Last Ronin story.
Yes, dude, I want to.
Because everything for children needs to be made R-rated, otherwise, 40-year-old men won't feel satisfied with their life.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I started Last Ronin. I haven't finished it yet. That one's just more of a time thing.
Are we allowed to talk about the spoilers of Last Ronin? I mean, just like which turtle survived?
I haven't even gotten to that one yet.
Oh.
But yes, I mean, how old is it? I don't.
It's a couple of years old at this point, but it's like.
You probably figure out pretty quickly, like if the turtle's going like, oh, all my bros are dead, dude, bummer. It's like, oh yeah, that's Mike now. I'm like, yeah, he lived. But then again, you can't hear them in the comics. Or maybe watching all his brothers die finally broke Michelangelo's optimistic spirit. Something had to.
Yeah, there's really no character where it's not interesting, except it's obviously not Donatello because he's not using cybernetics.
No.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he would have like a power, like, mech armor.
Yeah, like the minute you see this turtle using ninja craft with no technology, you're like, well, it's not Donatello.
Yep.
It's like, that's not a personality redefinition. That's just that would be just leaving shit on the table.
He's only still using that stick because he doesn't want to make his brothers feel sad.
Yeah. He's like, listen, guys, I invented a gun at age 5, and honestly, since then, I've basically just been playing along with you guys.
Just like, yeah, let's go on our ninja mission. So I can't wait till these guys are dead and I can just solve all the world's problems.
In the turtle world, there's a saying: God made turtles, Donatello made turtles equal. There's a deep cut for everybody.
Is that like a little Samuel Colt action there?
Yeah, yeah. I had a feeling Gibby would get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
You gotta give him, man. That is a badass quote.
Oh, dude.
I'm assuming the original quote wasn't about turtles.
No, it was God made man,
German.
Samuel Colt made man equal.
Man, even made
See.
equal, yeah.
I prefer the turtle one.
Ah, come on, let me pop it. Let me pop it.
What have we got to do? Just attack them? Attack the balloons? Well, that makes sense.
Attack the pump.
Seems like I've got 2 swords. Maybe I could have just popped those balloons a much more efficient way.
Well, you have to inflate them before you can pop them. I mean, otherwise it's not a satisfying boom.
They're already floating there, man,
So, you gentlemen want to talk about what you're currently working on as authors?
Sure,
No.
man. No. I am still working on In Cinderella. Fables
Such a
of
great
Mayhem,
name.
Book 1.
Really good
Thank you
name.
so much, sir. That's the thing is like when I thought about that one day, that pretty much spawned the rest of it. It's like one of those like, wow, how come no one? I checked, no one wrote a book on Cinderella yet. Fuck it, I'll do it.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a little bit how Rover Powered came into being.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of those like I like the idea so much of like, man, what if this girl instead of like getting a fairy godmother like made a deal with a demon to get revenge on the people that wronged her? I'm like, and it's still set in this kind of dark gothic fantasy world, but the concept of like, man, to make her a D&D warlock just made the most sense to me. So yeah. And while I'm doing that, it's like I'm 20,000 words into that. I'm having a lot of fun. So fifth of the way there. But I'm also working on some layouts, like some of my old books. I got working on some new covers, some new layouts for new paperbacks and things like that. I want to like take some of the old, make it fresh again. Inspired by Mr. Our friend Rick, who's doing that with a bunch of his stuff too. So like why not?
Very nice.
And then my editor is almost done with Villains Academy Shadowmaster Book 6. As soon as I get that back from her, I will put up pre-orders for the audiobook the ebook while I start working on the layouts, and hopefully the audio will come within a few months after that. So that's what I've been up to.
Very cool. Let's see. I am writing Spells, Swords, and Stealth number 6, so we're still very early on, of course, so it's going to be a bit on that one. I've pretty much finished up Villains Vignettes Volume 2 in terms of the rough draft, so that'll need to enter edits. Fred, the Vampire Count number 9, the final Fred. It's not the title, it's just what I'm telling people to make it clear this is the last in the series. Will be... that's getting that I have done just about all of my edits on it, so that's going to go to editors soon. And Rover Powered 3 is off to the publisher.
Nice.
Yes, I think that's everything right now.
Are you sure? Because you seem like you still have energy and things to do. So.
Well, obviously I'll have to start writing Rover Powered 4 here in a bit.
Oh, I thought you were already done with that by now. So.
Nope. Probably when I need a break in the Spells, Swords, and Stealth, I'll do a 20k of a Rover Power. It truly does feel like Goku leaving the hyperbaric time chamber every time I write a novella, because I'm just like, all right, and I'm getting going. Oh, I'm done. All right. 20,000 words at this point feels functionally like nothing.
Thanks. I was very proud of the 20,000 I did on my thing so far, but like you're like, it's nothing to me. I'm like, well, you know what? Go fuck you, Drew.
In comparison to a 300,000 word book, yeah.
Well, sure, I understand that, but
it's a lot of fun. I love writing them. They go so much faster when I'm used to like, okay, that's gonna be a book I spend the next year writing.
That is true. That is like three regular books at one time. So.
Yeah, and that's regular by our standards. Like the old
by human
definition of
standards,
novellas
like,
is
I've watched those other
50k.
books, Drew. No, I mean I've seen your other stuff. So like, yeah, us normal people.
Yeah, like 100k is the standard fantasy length.
Yeah.
Classic novel, I think, is still 50.
Yeah, it is.
Which is
I
bananas.
can't write in 50. I'm like Like I don't even watch a movie that's like I think it's Hollywood these days. I miss the days of 90-minute movies.
Oh, 100%.
Everything now is like 220, and I'm like, can we just hour 40? Can I get back to that? Just
well, they don't
get
need to
in.
be. Like, I loved Arrested Development, but I think part of what made season 4 worse than, and there's a, you know, there's a million things that went bad in season 4. This
Right.
is really
Yeah.
cherry picking, but I honestly think they were better served by shorter formats because it forced them to make the harder cuts. Like when you have to cram everything into that 22 minutes, you really slim down. You only keep the best stuff. You let, you slice out every spare second. And part of those early seasons, that incredible array of we definitely fought these motherfuckers last time. That incredible array of timing, and I think it lost a little bit of that snap in partially because they didn't have to have it. Like, they didn't have to cut it to within an inch of its life. And sometimes that can actually be beneficial. Not always,
Right.
But, sort of the same thing with movies. Like, when movies are allowed to go 2 hours instead of being 90 minutes, some movies don't need to be 2 hours. Sometimes that 90-minute slice was good.
I was we were talking to some of the people who were talking about filming a
who needs a
side
pizza?
quest this week.
Oh, I need the pizza most. There you go.
Yeah, we were talking about filming recording a side quest this weekend, and one of the ones that Rachel brought up, like, does anyone talk about the latest Marvel thing with Fantastic Four? I'm like, I'll be on it because I watch a lot of MCU, but like, I'll be admitted, I'm a little salty. I'm because I don't. It's not just superhero fatigue, like just movies in general these days. Everything we said, everything's going on too long. Everything's like 2 hours long, and it doesn't feel, nothing feels special anymore. It feels like a product.
Well,
and I've caught myself going back to like old classic. I mean, also, man, maybe I'm just old at this point, but I feel like a lot of do people forget how to write? Do they forget how to make something tight? And like you don't need to spell it out. You don't need to there's nuance.
Some really shit writing.
Oh God,
well,
yeah.
I think like there's an article.
There's
right
no
now
trust
that's
of the
out there.
audience.
Well, there's
And-
an article out right now that Netflix is telling their writers to dumb things down because the audience is on their phone so much that you need to literally have characters walk into a room and say, "I'm in the room," because they're not looking at the TV screen.
Now, I will give them a little bit of grace here and say that the audience is not faultless in this shift because of the prevalence of dumb shit like CinemaSins, where people are willfully obsolescent of.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, they didn't explain this and this. It's obviously a continuity. It's like, oh, God.
I recognize the trope. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. That's, it's language.
Yeah.
You're going to come across the same band.
I get
But
it.
you
but I also-
complain
I
every
was
time
like-
you hear a 4/4 beat, you fucking mook.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, there's
so-
also you go back to some of the stuff we grew up on, like I was recently rewatching the original Alien. Slow burn, Jaws in space. But it's so tight. It's so good for its period of time, and it works in such a way that I don't think people would be afraid to take a chance on something like just Alien again, or Alien. Sure, take something beloved and just make it action. But
Well, I got good news and bad news for you, Gibby. The good news and the bad, really, they're the same news. Based on historical trends, we're at the roadshow era of old Hollywood. And
Okay.
for those who don't know, I'm going to tell you because I know a bunch of random obscure shit, and you're just going to live with that in my head for a moment. So the roadshow was a promotional tool used for major blockbusters that they would roll out. They would have the stars. They would have shows going on. They would, it would be like a tour across the nation, a road show to get everybody out. They would spend lots of money on promotion, of course, and lodging and all these events. This massive marketing, and for a time it was incredibly successful. But as budgets grew and road shows grew, Casey Jones, go get that pizza.
well,
It's an
that was
everybody.
an everybody. That was an everybody.
Luckily,
pizza,
that was an everybody pizza.
Yeah. I knew that. I wasn't being selfish.
So
I knew that. I wasn't just greedy. I wasn't hungry.
yeah, so the investments grew, and you'll often hear the citing of Cleopatra, Dr. Dolittle as the bombs that sank old Hollywood, and their initial investments were absolutely part of it, but also part of it was the fact that these road shows cost so fucking much that each movie became a bigger and bigger investment, and when several of them in a row failed, it basically led to the collapse of the old studio system, which...
Sure.
So, for those who are tracking historical trends can probably guess where we are in
Right. Makes
this
sense.
parallel. We're a few big bombs away from a couple of studios folding, but if things follow, then in the ashes we should see a rise of the independent creator again. I've played this thing so many fucking times, I just realized you have to knock the bomb into him to turn off his stupid force field. I thought it was timed.
Yeah, I thought it was time too. I'm just following your
I
lead.
wasn't paying attention. I was just hitting stuff with swords.
So, bad news.
It's about roadshow and button mashing is what I was doing. So
We've got some more bad movies ahead and probably a few studio collapses, but in the wake of it, we should hopefully see the rise of creativity again.
well, there's
Hopefully.
I'm excited about a few projects. Like, did you see the trailer for Novocaine by any chance?
No.
Okay,
No.
so Jack
Sort of
Quaid.
process.
Yeah, Jack Quaid from The Boys. He plays a guy who's like, he has a condition where he feels no pain. His girlfriend gets clear. So it's like basically a murder spree where he's trying to get his girlfriend back, but he's taking more damage as it goes. It's a comedy action. He just can't, he can be hurt. He just doesn't feel it. And it's this really weird John Wick with a sense of humor type of weird quirk thing. And I'm like, and I'm all about it.
There's been a few movies like that. I enjoyed them because I like,
Like
You
Boy
know,
Meets
Stupendous.
Boy Meets
Yeah.
Boy Kills World.
Boy Kills
That was a lot of
World.
Fun.
yeah, I like ludicrous action things. It never needs to be explained that they don't feel pain or damage because most of the people in these movies would have been dead 10 minutes in.
Well, that's part of the charm of Novocaine because it shows, like, for example, he can't feel the pain. So when he reaches into the boiling thing, you watch his hand like blister and thing as he throws hot water into someone's face, or boiling oil or whatever. You know his body's taking the damage, and that's part of the charm and the allure. So he'll deal with it later, but he's got a job to do. So, and the
Yeah,
trailer looks really fun.
Man, I miss the 90-minute comedy, a genre that pretty much died in 2016.
Well, yeah. Or the good old fashioned, like,
Yeah.
someone's on a trip to do something and there's probably going to be a titty, so.
What was that movie we watched with Bevan with John Cusack in it?
Oh, Better Off Dead?
Yeah, Better Off Dead.
Yeah. Better Off Dead, yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, here's some funny stuff that happened to this guy
Yeah,
sometimes.
in this town where everybody adores skiing.
Yeah, here's this weird little town.
Well, that was a time where we kind of have this belovedness about those because, like, when I look at things like the modern remakes of even the modern Ghostbusters, not even the 2016 stuff, but the new stuff, the Reitman stuff, like, it's fine. It's just not good.
Not good. It's not great comedy either.
It's not great comedy. It's not great sci-fi. It's just it's a movie.
And people in movies now, I do not get excited. There used to be a time when I thought, oh, Jack Black's in a movie. He's going to be a reliable, farcical 90 minutes of fun. Now it's like,
Yeah,
oh, Jack Black's in a movie.
Yeah, like, oh
Guess I
no,
better punch,
Jack Black's
punch an 8-year-old in the head so he can enjoy it.
I feel the same with The Rock. There was a time
Yeah.
The Rock was fun. Now it's
That's
Rock.
not just, those are the go-to examples, but it's pretty much a lot of stars now. Just like, oh, such and such is in this. And I don't give a shit.
Keanu Reeves is still pretty reliably good.
I love me some Keanu. Have you watched what was the Love, Death, and Robots knockoff that was on Prime? Secret Level.
I did not, no.
Okay, so did you ever see Love, Death, and
Casey.
Robots?
Yep.
Did you ever see Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah,
On
well,
Netflix?
some of them. I think
Okay,
there
well-
was a season I missed.
Okay, good. You know the premise. Secret Level is a video game based version of that. So it's just video games. It's these little short independent like animations about Dungeons and Dragons and Doom and what's that? Quake and
Oh, I
Armored
didn't get to
Core
any
and things
of
like
these
that.
ones.
And it's real. Well, Keanu Reeves is in one of them as an Armored Core pilot, and it's really, it's so good.
I got episodes of 2 video games and I didn't recognize the video games and I went, fuck you.
Well, the Dungeons and
And I
Dragons
never
one was
watched them
great.
again.
So was the Warhammer one was really great. So.
Um,
Or it's more games, not just video games, but games. So
Hmm.
So he's not. I don't know. I guess he's not reliable in every capacity, but I will say, if I see Tom Cruise in an action movie, I still feel pretty safe hands.
sure.
You know he's good at what he does.
Yeah, like he's gonna be out there. He's gonna be doing some crazy shit. It's gonna look good on camera because he's gonna do that crazy shit until
Yeah.
it looks good on camera.
Yes.
It's kind of He's like, oh, it's a rom-com heartthrob for a while. I'm getting a bit old now. I think I'll jump out some planes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go admire that.
Speaking of, it's on. I think it's on Hulu or Prime. I'm not sure which one it is, but the Fall Guy with.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, I
that
really
was
liked
super
that.
good.
That was
I was
fun.
surprised at how much I enjoyed it because, again, like you said, rom-com with stunts. I'm like, oh, the Fall Guy. Like that was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of practical effects. It was a love language to
Yeah.
actual stunt work. I mean,
Yeah.
God,
it
why
happened.
wouldn't you love that movie?
Yes.
I was
bit-
sad it
to
didn't
be
do
honest,
better.
And like
the bits
Ryan
in
Gosling is, like,
between-
did really well. Young Hercules, let us never forget, did really well.
The bits in between the action sequence in Fall Guy was kind of like, all right, you guys, you got cute, you got great screen chemistry, but you've got about 5 seconds until I start looking at my phone. So jump
Yeah,
out of a
yeah.
window or something. But every time I fought like that, he'd jump out of a window or something. So
Yeah, exactly.
They knew
can't
what they
really
knew what they were
complain.
doing.
yeah.
Oh man, we need a double pizza like whoa. All right, good
You know,
time.
like,
know.
oh,
Yeah.
should we have some clever writing or intriguing plot twist here now? It's like, we could just have him, jump on another car. Cool, do that.
I thought you meant in the game. Like, no, I think it's just Captain Zorax and like.
Oh no, yeah. Well, this game is absolutely living up to that standard.
100%.
Plot twist: a Triceratops with a knife.
But it's probably worth
blade
noting
hands.
though that the examples we've had of like consistent movie stars are of a, if not the last generation, then almost 2 generations
Yeah.
ago. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of comedy guys that came up that never really made it as. There's a lot of that guys that came up after those guys, but
Sure.
yeah, there's no stars, right? There's no.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds, you could make an argument is the last current movie star.
His name carries weight. No, that
Mm.
and that being said, not everything, because like I didn't see I didn't see a bunch of his other little side projects. I
Even
skipped past
he's
his
kind of
mobile ads.
Yeah,
So-
I
Got
did.
a
Like I said,
thing.
I'm not saying he's at that same tier, but like I
No.
don't think we have anyone at that like level of their career is that hot right now, that consistent.
No. And even he kind of maxed out at Deadpool. That was as most Ryan Reynolds as he could get.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. I mean, he's right. He's
Oh,
right
Hugh
there,
Jackman's a
though.
good one. Hugh Jackman's a good
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, he's there.
He's
Uh,
a little more artsy, which I think
He
kind of
does,
keeps
well,
him
he's a
from
song and
having
dance
that
man,
that,
you know?
that unstoppable track record. Like the fact that he's willing to do random musical shit like Greatest Showman is, I'm sure, satisfying for him artistically, not as great for his batting average.
Yeah, you say
Right.
willing to do. That's
I
where
need
it's
Robot
hard.
Jocks
Oh, that
Part
dude
three,
loves
whatever
to
that
sing
was.
and dance, man. I mean,
If
Oh.
Robot Jocks Part 3 was a musical,
Have you
Hugh
What's the one
Jackman
where he?
would be-
What's the one where he's the over the top where he saves his son by robot boxing?
Real
You know,
Steel.
Real
Yeah.
Steel. Like it's over the top meets Robot Jocks, and I fucking love it.
I haven't
Now,
seen
was
it.
that
I've always
based on
wanted
the,
to. We should do that one at the
Oh,
movies.
We need to watch that, my friend.
Was it based on that ridiculous board game?
Rock'em
Sock'em
Sock'em
Seems like
Robots?
yeah,
Might
Rock'em
as well
Sock'em
have been.
Robots. It seems like they licensed Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Don't tell me
If
I'm
you have
crazy.
not
No,
seen it.
if they had
fucking
licensed
battleships.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, it would absolutely be in the title. They're not going to spend that money and not have the title be Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I don't
It
know,
might
man.
have
This
been-
was
oh,
before
Drew,
everything
we
went
need to- that's
insane.
not the
Maybe
movies.
back then
I
they
didn't
might
have
have been
to
like, maybe this is maybe this is going too far. Maybe we can't call this movie Rock'em Sock'em Robots because people will think we're dumb. 5 years later, they would have been like, it doesn't matter. People think we're dumb. We are dumb.
So the Greatest Showman reminded me. I did see one show that I was like, man, this is really well written and fun. Have y'all watched Laid on Peacock?
I have not. I don't have the cock. So
I get it free with one of my credit cards. That's the only reason I
free
have
cock.
it.
Got it.
Yeah, but so basically, Laid is about a woman who her exes start dying in random and horrific
yeah,
fashion,
for this. Yeah.
in the order in which they, in which like she had slept with them, and she's like, well, what the fuck is going on? But it's a dark comedy. It's very, very like funny. The leads are great. They're wonderful together. They're so hilarious.
Oh man, I say this with love. I hope it fails so it shows up on Netflix sooner rather than later because I want to see that's.
No, I need a season 2, man. They leave on kind of a cliffhanger, and I'm ready for it. But I bring that up to mention, like, it has one of the worst product placements for fucking Greatest Showman that they work into it. Like, one of the characters is a music fan, and he keeps geeking out over Greatest Showman. And like, look, I love musical theater. I know musical theater dorks. I promise you, that's not the one they're shitting themselves for. And anyway, but you know, aside from mandated corporate bullshit aside, it's a really good show, and I do recommend it. I binged that whole thing.
So if it comes on like one of those, here to tell you what, sometimes when I'm like on Google or what's it, Fandango or some things like that, they put these on. They're like it's $10 for a season like that. Is it worth $10? when that happens, when that time comes?
I would say yeah.
Okay, cool.
I would spend $10 on that.
Because that's how I got what was it? Twisted Metal, the one that was on
Peacock.
I don't know which. Peacock, yeah. I got it for $10 on one of
Oh,
those things. My God,
I was watching Leonardo.
love
I was just fighting the corner for no reason.
But yeah, that's why I got Twisted Metal. It was like $10 on one of those, like, by the season. I was like, and it was great. I like Twisted Metal, and like, I'm tempted to get Peacock or try when that comes out for season 2 because I like that show so much. It knew exactly what it wanted to be, and it had fun.
It did. I loved.
Go ahead.
I loved the casting. I was not such a fan of the repetitive nature of the. All right, go somewhere, get kidnapped. Go somewhere, get kidnapped. And I was like, all right, I feel like I've got this by episode 3.
But it's the most I've ever enjoyed Anthony Mackie. I'll say that. So. Like...
Yeah. I loved. Oh man, the guy who plays Sweet Tooth. I know his name. He's a wrestler. It's escaping me at this moment. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Samoa Joe, sir. Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. Thank you.
Will Arnett is the voice.
And then what do you call it? Mike Mitchell from Doughboys plays like his running buddy Stu in that. Oh, that's an infinite power one, so let's use it and kill. Never stop running with power. Okay, I stopped running with power.
I've actually been rewatching because like a lot of modern shows have been kind of just torquing me off, and like unfortunately, like I love fantasy. I live in an urban fantasy nerd genre lifestyle. But most of the shows I'm done with for a while. But then I go, oh yeah, I could just rewatch old shows. Battlestar Galactica. I thought that was an Everybody Pizza. Sorry.
That wasn't Everybody Pizza.
Oh, cool. Thank God. Yeah. I've been rewatching the 2004 Battlestar Galactica. I'm like, oh my God, this was so good 20 years ago. And like, how do we forget how to write this well?
See, I can't help you there. I don't care about sci-fi. That's never been my,
this show transcends that. Like, did you ever watch?
They always say that, and they never do.
Sir, this is the one time.
That's
the one time.
As a gentleman who likes sci-fi, I'm sure you agree.
No, it's about the people. This is a character-driven thing because it's. Did you ever watch the old anime Robotech when you were a kid?
No. Again, I don't like sci-fi.
Jesus, man. Aliens invade, and we have to. The last of mankind is running and trying to survive, kind of thing. And there's like very few humans left, and it's a very human story, about being people. What does it mean when there's so few bit of humanity left? That is the gist of both that old anime and obviously Battlestar Galactica. So
I just realized I have a very writerly example for how much I dislike sci-fi. The minor spoilers for Villain's Code: Bones of the Past, which is I think 4 years old at this point, so I feel okay about it. So I've never made a secret that Villain's Code series is an homage to the classic comic book worlds.
Yes.
And if you're going to do that, you sort of have to include a cosmic element because that's just an innate part of both of those things. And the thing is I fucking hate the cosmic stuff. It feels less like superhero, more like sci-fi. So part of the reason that Bones of the Past conclusion works the way it does is it ends with a couple of the characters basically genociding an entire alien army for the simple fact that, and broadcasting it to the entire galaxy at large, because I wanted to acknowledge that this is a world with a giant galactic cosmic component and all that stuff, but I don't want to deal with it. So there are a whole bunch of aliens, but they're not coming to Earth because they saw what the fuck lives there.
I used to hate in Marvel whenever they went off-world. I was just like, call me when you're back in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Now, weirdly enough, like I think Guardians is like Captain America series, the original trilogy, and the Guardians are the things I like the most in Marvel. The rest of it is,
Yeah, the Guardians trilogy was, great.
It was character driven. Again, it opens with it's you think comedy in space, but it opens with like a kid and his dead mom. Like, that was not expecting that. Well done, Peter.
I hate the cosmic stuff.
I was laughing so hard.
Yeah,
I could have watched Guardians of the
Someone
Galaxy separate from the Marvel universe and enjoyed it. It was kind of the new Star Wars.
I would agree with. I do like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I said, I'm not entirely atheistic on sci-fi, but it's just it's an uphill battle.
Sci-fi is a kind of, it's space, sure, but it's kind of sci-fi in the same way that Star Wars is sci-fi. Magic samurais, just because they're in space doesn't mean it's
automatically
not
sci-fi.
fantasy.
There's hard sci-fi, and then there's like space fantasy. So
yeah,
Yeah, speaking of harder sci-fi, I've just been, and writing in general, I've been rewatching Deep Space Nine, and every misgiving I had about modern Star Trek is just made so apparent once you start watching stuff that had actual writing in it. So it's not just me, internet.
No, it's not. There is, I guess, I'm also of an age where it's like I don't cotton to these young kids and their writing styles, you know.
Well,
it's like, but I'm not the audience anymore. So
we should also probably call out that there have been a lot of inherent changes in the way that shows are written. You know, the shows that we're praising, they were stocked with 10, 20 plus people, sometimes in their writers' rooms, that were all getting paid well to work and refine these scripts and etc. And you know, from the union strikes in the last we've had 2 of them over the last decade. Or close to it, it's very clear that the people in charge of those things are not wanting to keep shelling out for that level of creative output. So part of the reason we might be seeing less well-written shows is the simple fact that there are less writers working on those shows.
Counterpoint, there's also, like, we talked earlier about how there are fewer like stars, like movie stars, right? You know, people, these are just no names that you trust, and you're going to trust that this is going to be a good project that you follow. And like, you know, I talked a little shit about Anthony Mackie earlier, but he made a very good point several years ago that he goes, the Falcon is not, I am not a star, but like the Falcon or Captain America is, and these kind of things, blah, blah, blah. So in a lot of these shows, these are products now. They're not auteur driven. These aren't designed by someone who had an idea or a vision and wanted to make the show or a movie. It is a product that's being created by, you know, a corporation for the sake of money. So the writing isn't going to be it's not a passion project. It's we need our monthly dose of Star Wars, Star Trek, MCU, DCU.
It's a paycheck.
Yeah.
I have a completely different social, political take on this. I just think that Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as much as I loved that show, ruined an entire generation of writers for dialogue.
Oh, it did. Everybody's like, what level of snark are we at? Yeah.
Yeah, every time I see that in Star Trek or something, I'm thinking, you know, I hope there isn't a bright future for humanity. I hope we all die.
I love that we all saw that situation and immediately went to our super moves.
Yeah, like, just get in the middle, motherfucker.
like 5 ninjas all dropping into a whirlwind of blades. It's like, well, shit. I was about to say I might want to wait until the end of the level to get that.
No, too late.
You know, on the subject of the movie stars, though, I will say I think not necessarily in the same like capacity as Tom Cruise, but in the way that he is generally liked and respected, like is Chris Evans. Like even if, because he does a lot of artsy stuff, so even if his stuff isn't blockbuster shit, it's not like when Robert Downey Jr. did Dr. Dolittle when you're like, shit.
His last couple of little forays, like I watched that. What was that piece of shit movie with the Christmas thing with The Rock and him?
Red
Not
One.
Jingle All the Way. That's
yeah. I
Red
forgot
One,
about that.
Red
Okay,
Down,
maybe not.
Didn't even try it.
Red Sleigh Down or whatever the fuck, you know, like that was. It was a bad movie.
I forgot he was in that. I forgot that existed.
I could see what they were going for, or the movie he did where he's like, I think it was a Peacock movie where it's like his girlfriend's a spy.
Oh, I was thinking of the one where he was raising the kid that was super intelligent, and like the mom was trying to make her solve a math equation.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a cute movie.
See, that being said, like Snowpiercer, that final monologue he gave is fucking great. You know, when he's look at the camera and he's holding that cigarette the whole time, like, well, smoke the damn thing. What hold it?
Spiking like a true ex-smoker.
Exactly. Like, you're pissing me off, buddy. Don't hold the damn thing. What are you, some like French sniper? Smoke it. But like, that monologue where he's like, he knows what babies taste like in this horrible dystopian world. Like, it was dark and it was good, and like he's got chops. You know, I'll give Chris Evans that. He got chops, but also paychecks. And so he's got to be like Red Sleigh Down or
somebody who has the exact right, not necessarily acting chops, but the exact right level of charisma to do whatever the hell he wants and should be allowed to do what he wants because he has excellent taste. Henry Cavill.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Now,
I feel like Henry Cavill should be a movie star, like from looks alone.
But he keeps picking projects that are like, other than The Witcher, like Superman was fine, but again,
I mean,
people
picking Superman is not a bad career move.
It's
It's
not
not
a bad
supposed to
career move,
be. Like,
but it's also a situation. Let's not kid ourselves. Like I remember those days. People that got rose-colored glasses. Everybody made fun of Man of Steel for like his flying face looked like he was pooping, and the suit looked wet, and they were like, "That's not Superman."
oh no, it was a bad
they-
movie. I will never be a Man of Steel defender. I fucking hate that
No.
movie. But like when you're signing up for it, taking the role of Superman is
Oh,
supposed to
yeah,
be a
that's a
good
no-brainer,
career
yeah.
move. Like,
And to be fair, Henry Cavill would have been like, this is not how I want to do things. I think he got into a situation where he negotiated doing things more his way, and
Yeah.
then they dropped him, which is what
The
happened in The
Witcher,
Witcher. Which is what happens to a lot of his
Oh,
projects.
The Witcher got worse with every season.
Yeah, because he actually cares about shit, and they're like, how can we
Yeah.
get rid of this guy who cares about his nerd shit we're trying
Right.
to make $1 billion off?
oh, the crazy thing is watching him in Man from U.N.C.L.E., I was like, oh, I 1,000% get why they cast this guy as Superman. Like he could have absolutely played the shit out of that role. See, you go watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. if you have any doubts about how charming that son of a bitch can be when he wants to be, man. Like, just absolutely crushed the living hell out of that thing. All right, let's slice.
Lesser known movie, but him
Oh,
starring in
goddamn
what was it called? The Ministry for Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yes.
There's not a single video game part that Henry Cavill couldn't do amazingly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in Doom.
Oh yeah.
Well, like here's the thing. They talked about like a Highlander remake as him as this Highlander. Bring it on. Great.
Yeah.
I love it.
So as soon as they said, "Oh, we're going to remake the Highlander," I was like, "Over my dead body, you are." And then they said,
God
"With
damn it.
Henry
We
Cavill," and I was like,
gotta throw him
Yeah.
at the guy. I can't remember how to do it. Fuck.
You grab them and lock on and you aim towards the thing. I think
I've grabbed them. I can't seem to.
like push down on your controller. No shit. That's not left. There. That.
Which one was it?
just down and throw, or down and top attack, I guess. Once you've grabbed onto them, bonk.
But yeah, I want to see Henry Cavill as the Highlander. Bring it. You know.
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm glad I don't have to, suicide bomb a Hollywood studio now.
got it.
Which was
Ah.
my plan A.
So I've got a more specific one for you, and I feel like I might want to be the only person this is true for. But do you have any showrunners that you absolutely trust? That you're like, oh, they're making this motherfucker? I'm in.
Oh, God,
What's the
no.
guy who's the showrunner that did The Good Place? That thing he did that
Michael Shore.
Michael Schur, like he
Great pick.
like dude, that when I watched that one with Ted Danson, that
The Man
the one on
Inside,
Netflix,
or An Inside
The
Man.
Inside. God damn it, that was so touching. It was funny, it was earnest, it was clever, it was well written, it was smart, and yeah, it was. Oh, my dead. I guess I
No,
gotta,
someone has to save you. But we're busy fighting. And Steve's just fighting you.
How do I save him?
I'm gonna throw
By
Keith's
hitting him with my
corpse at
sword?
the-
You're
on
dead
back-
forever, buddy. You're never coming back. Sorry, Casey.
Yeah. Like throw my corpse at the robot man.
This is animal abuse. I want this on the record. This is animal abuse. I'm the only one who knows how to throw the foot soldiers, apparently.
Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, when The Man Inside was so good, like that was touching. So if
Yeah,
you haven't
Mike-
seen that, I recommend it.
Mike Shore is absolutely one of my I will always watch their stuff showrunners. The guy who did The Good Place, not Jesus Christ, not The Good Place, you just said that. Fucking Wonder Falls, Dead Like Me. Oh, Christ on the Cross. There's another big one that's well known. Pushing Daisies. It's
I've
not
seen
the.
none of those things.
Oh my God, dude, they are. Pushing Daisies alone is artistry. Like, it's beautiful. It's weirdly rhythmic. It's sequential. Like, it is to this day one of my favorite just pieces of art media that I have seen. It ruined a date for me in college because we were like sitting down to eat dinner and like watch this random new show that was on, and I fucking zeroed it.
Nice.
But no, it's
Just
truly
over there with their shirt off, like yeah, boobies, whatever. This is really good cinema right here.
it was truly like a wonderful, wonderful show. I wish it had, at least especially the first season. I always mix him up. So Bryan Singer is the sex crime guy who made the X-Men movie. So this is
Yes,
Brian.
that's the one. Yeah.
So Brian Fuller is the one who made The Pushing Daisies, Dead Like
What
Me,
else did he do?
Wonder
Because I
Falls.
recognize that name. Oh, it wasn't he.
Hannibal.
No, Kurt. I'm thinking Kurt Fuller, the guy that did The Shield and Sons of Anarchy, which I also am into that too. So.
Oh, you know who I will say is probably my current modern favorite though, because Fuller hasn't really done much outside of Hannibal in a while, is Tracy Wigfield. Just an absolute cannot miss, except in the fact that her shit keeps getting canceled.
I don't know who that is.
So
Oh shit.
Unfortunately it's always shows that are very hard to sell people on. So the first one, so she worked on 30 Rock, and you can absolutely kind of tell that from the snappy pacing of her style and dialogue in her other projects. So the first big one was, I believe, Great News, which starred Briga Heelan as like a news journalist who hires her 70-year-old retired mother or 60-year-old mother as like an intern. She's like very nosy. It's a workplace comedy. It stars Nicole Richie as one of the side characters, who has much better comedic timing than I ever would have thought. She's fucking hilarious. But yeah, and so it's 2 seasons. It's really, really good. It's very funny. But again, that's kind of a weird premise, and it's hard to sell people on. That goes
back to what I was saying earlier about like the auteur, the person who's got an idea, has got a vision, has got a style that kind of brings you in, and it's not a paycheck. It's not a big IP paycheck. Who's the gentleman? I'm blanking on his name. He made Glee of all things, but he also made like Nip Tuck and American Horror Story.
Oh, and, Ryan something?
Ryan Murphy.
Oh no,
like,
these fucking
guy,
pizza monsters. I hate these things.
I'm not saying everything he does is great, but he has such a vision, like in like a twisted way of showing you something that it's not always good, but I'm always intrigued. You know, it's kind of like obviously we lost David Lynch very recently, so it's like kind of like in that kind of feel, because every American Horror Story's got a weird, just a thing about it. It's gross. It's wet. It's on fire. It's
incredibly gay.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nip Tuck was one of those shows too of the time. Like, man, I can't turn away. It's so like engaging. So,
I will throw out the other Tracy Wigfield show that I think a few people might have caught, and again is an incredibly hard sell, was the Saved by the Bell reboot.
Oh.
Yeah, no one fucking wanted to watch that thing, but here's the bit. It was incredible. It was so fucking good. It was stupid funny. There's this show, there was this series on YouTube called Zach Morris's Trash, where this guy went through and basically detailed all the horrible things that Zach Morris had done throughout the course of Saved by the Bell. And like it ran for like 5 seasons. There was a lot of funny content, and it stopped at one point, and I found out that part of the reason is because they hired the guy who wrote that series to work on the new Saved by the Bell reboot.
Okay.
And so part of it is like there were these incredibly random deep lore drops. Like I never watched original Saved by the Bell. I could not give less of a shit about original Saved by the Bell. But the fact that like there was just this weird level of depth and texture, acknowledging the meta strangeness of the series underneath it. Like at one point Zach goes, I'll tell you what's weird. At one point I went to sleep in Ohio and woke up in California and no one ever talks about it. Because Saved by the Bell was originally Good Morning Miss Bliss, which was set in Ohio.
Right.
And they transported Zach, Screech, and I think maybe one other character.
He's a turtle.
And then, yeah, so very
Nerd?
good show. Won a ton of awards, got canceled in season 2. You're going to notice a trend on this.
You know, that's if you get used to that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is with British comedy. It's like, wow, that was great. Now to never watch it again.
Yeah, if I ever get such creative control over a show that I get to pick my showrunner, rest assured it will be a Tracy Wigfield show, and I will enjoy all 2 seasons.
You don't need more than 2 seasons. It's fine.
I'll just pick something short. One of the novellas.
I like shorts. I like short seasons, like 10 episodes and maybe 4 seasons max. You know, maybe 5 if you're, you know.
For a sitcom, no. Give me 20 and 8 seasons. Like.
Oh Christ, no! Like I I don't even like book series that go on beyond 7. So like I can't deal with that.
I guess it depends. If it's trying to do any semblance of continuity, yeah, then probably 5 to 7 is probably the limit.
Otherwise, you get Scrubs, the new teaching school.
I honestly liked that. I mean, if you read it,
no
it
one
was
likes
supposed to be
season 8.
It was supposed to be a different show. Like Bill Lawrence tried like hell to get them to call it a different show. It was supposed to be a spin-off. Which under that context, I think it's fine.
JD, Cox. I mean, I'm a Scrubs stan. I will stand by Scrubs all day. So
yeah, I love Scrubs, but I like a spin-off too, and I think it would have been fine as a spin-off. As a continuation, it never had a hope. They got fucked by the network out of the gate on that one. But Bill Lawrence, actually, that's another good example. Bill Lawrence is a great showrunner. A lot of quality stuff.
Didn't he do the Drew Carey show as well?
I want to say so. Yeah. I wonder what his modern thing is.
Yeah. Oh no, it was Cougar Town.
Oh yeah, well that was a pretty big hit. They're bringing back King of the Hill.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one.
Okay.
Odd. Why do everybody still talks about King of the Hill?
Well, again, it's one of those. I wonder what the next generation is going to be like. What's going on now that in 2 generations from now they're like, oh, they're a gritty reboot of, I don't know, Ben 10, or I don't know what the kids now, because it feels like everything from my generation, at least the Gen X generation, is being aped, and up until some of the millennial stuff of the Gen Ys.
Well, at least it's not a gritty reboot. They're just bringing they're bringing it back a few years later. I think Bobby's an adult now.
Oh,
Jesus. Okay.
I mean, they kind of had they sort of had to do it to a certain extent because several of the voice actors are dead. Like,
yeah,
so
Brittany Murphy's gone.
They have to change things pretty substantially out of the gate. They unfortunately the voice actor for Dale passed, but not before recording a bunch of lines for the series, so we will still get some Dale.
Oh, that thing just landed on me.
So I posted about this the other day. It's something I never thought about as a kid, but man, living next door to 3 of your best friends from like childhood and having enough time and freedom to just every day go out, have a beer, and hang out with them. Hank Hill lived the fucking life.
Well, okay, so you say that, and I unfortunately got cursed with wanderlust as a kid, and also really bad grades. That's why I had to drop out of college and join the military. So I couldn't stay in my hometown, but I see some people that I knew back in the day, and they still get together I mean, I see Facebook photos, whatever, like, hey, we're all get together, beers that do the thing, and I'm like, and I have no sense of, oh, why is that not me kind of thing. That's not a me thing. So.
Oh man, see, I had a short stretch in my professional life. Well, I had a job where I got to work among colleagues, like, because we were all always like on travel, so we all kind of like stayed in the same areas, so there was a communal sense there. And then I for a while, for like 3 years, I lived in an apartment that was down the hall from some really good friends. And so yeah, just the ability to go hang out with your buds whenever you want. It's so precious that you don't really get as an adult.
Let me caveat that with not necessarily the people I grew up with and went to high school with. Most of my people I'm lifelong friends now are like people I formed later. If I ever won the stupid lottery, like the mega billions kind of thing, if I get like $1 billion, I'm going to go buy 200 acres of wood somewhere, have it developed, and like get like 10 houses, got my 10 best friends and their families. Like, you live here now. You're now on the compound. Like every need will be met. We're all just gonna hang out and do whatever each day. And
is it weird that almost every adult I know has that exact same fantasy?
No, it's that Neverland. It's that Peter Pan. Like, I did my time. I did my nickel. It's time for me to like.
It's like all we really want is just to live in a community around the people we like. That's not it doesn't seem like that huge of an ask in the grand scheme of things, and yet. It is. But yeah, like just sort of acknowledging, like, living. That's sort of what Hank Hill had. Is he had that thing where he lived around his best friends. Just.
I don't want that, Drew.
Well, yes, you're British, Steve.
Yeah. I want to live in a castle and look down on a village that hates and fears me with good reason. That's how.
You want
Toil
the
until you tile, and then toil some more. You know?
you want the local carriagemans to stop near your castle, but not at the
Yeah.
gate. They won't come that
We
close.
go no further than this.
You're like,
They won't know that I paid them to
like,
say
are you
that.
like Picard in the board? This line, no further. That's sci-fi, Drew, and you don't like it, so.
Yeah. It also allows me to be the only person on the podcast who has a neutral opinion about Star Wars.
No, you know you're not. I don't have a great opinion about Star Wars. Even like
I've
the
been-
original stuff,
yeah.
I love it. I grew up with it, but like I can sit there and find fault with it. I can still
I've been
pick at it.
forced into a neutral position on both Star Wars and Star Trek because they've made so much shit of both that it cancels out the good.
Yeah. I miss loving Star Wars. I miss caring about it. I miss the mystery
Yeah.
and the magic. You know, one of the worst things you could ever do is like some things I don't need to know what a Kessel Run is. I don't need
Yeah.
to know where this lightsaber came
Yeah.
from. I don't
How
care
did
what
Han
whatsoever.
Solo get his vest?
Yeah.
I don't give
Exactly.
a fuck.
I didn't
You know-
get his gun, his vest, his last name. Like, oh, he had a really crazy long weekend that never changed in over 30 years. So I'm like, that's depressing.
It's crazy how much writing I learned from watching wrestling growing up, which sounds
Oh,
like a
dude.
ridiculous thing to say, but man, keep in mind that I know not to do overexposure because of wrestling. Like,
Sir,
yeah,
I
you
wrote
can
an entire
overexpose a
book.
character.
I wrote a superhero book that's based on pro wrestling. Like literally, like are these heroes real? Are they fake? What's going on? But it's like but it's because of pro wrestling. That's where I learned a lot of storytelling, how to set up, you know, how to set up your rise of your hero, your fall.
Oh, yeah.
How do they go? How does the heel go up against the face? You know, it's one of the reasons that Steve Amell show where he did the wrestler heels was amazing, and I really need to bring that back.
The number of people who are afraid to let their protagonist lose is
Right.
And that used to be the default, because like I think back to the old superhero shows, and it's they lose the first match, maybe lose the second, depending on what the runtime is, and then they bring it home together in the third after having shown why this guy's a threat.
Ric Flair was such a great bad guy because he would cheat and he would keep the belt. You might beat him, but like, oh, there's a count out. It's a disqualification. It's this. You don't get the belt. Aren't I? I'm still the man.
Yeah,
You
they brought him into the because he predated. He was an old territories guy. They would bring him
Yeah.
in. We're doing real deep wrestling shit now. Before
If you're
Vince
still with us.
McMahon united the territories. You could do a fantasy version of Vince McMahon's rise to power in wrestling, just like with
Right.
kingdoms and knights and shit, and just blow for blow, and
you
it would
know
be
what?
perfect.
If somebody did J.R.R. Martin did for like European history, but with pro wrestling, I would
Yeah.
read the shit out of that.
I mean, honestly, that seems like John Hartness just waiting to happen.
Yeah. The thing is, I've watched countless like I gotta beat his legs up. I forgot. You know, I love all those old documentaries. I love those old videos. The Dark Side of the Ring, the all those things. Like Hulu is full of them. So when I'm really
Oh.
tired, and I'm just feeling lazy. Man, I just put on one of those. Tell me what wrestling was like back in the day.
What was that movie that came out recently? It was really sad, but it had
The Wrestler?
the dude from that was really sad too. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. It had the dude from Baywatch in it. Was it Zach? What's his face?
Oh, the Iron Claw.
Iron Claw. Yeah.
That's based on the true story. Like, well, it's loose. They missed an entire brother. There's all the things, but yeah, that is
They already had enough brothers in there,
the
man.
Von Erich family. Oh no, they didn't. They had even fewer. No, it was sadder than you could possibly imagine.
So I've
the
seen
Von
enough
Erich
dead
family.
brothers in 90 minutes, all right? I don't
Yeah.
need any more.
Oh, not only one dead brother, like one brother like loses his foot and then takes his life. You know, so yeah.
Piece by piece. Yeah, it was.
I'm
It
coming,
wasn't a.
Casey. I'm coming.
It wasn't a happy.
It's not
movie.
working.
I'm not even
It's
breathing
not
hard.
working. He's dead.
I was at 0. Oh, I'm back.
Shredder.
He's Lazarus. Just imagine Casey Jones. Hey guys, immortal?
Dude, y'all know Casey was a fucking immortal?
I don't
It
think
would
Casey
explain
knew
a few
Casey
things
was
about
immortal.
him, right? Gonna go fight crime with a hockey
Leo, go
man.
get that pizza.
Hang on, tea break.
More shred.
There we go.
Pretentious sword move break.
Ah, you have murdered a rabbit. That's 8 years bad luck. Unless you cut off my feet.
I did the thing.
I gotta stop
Don't
telling
tell
people
him
about
that
the
bit.
feet thing.
Yeah.
love that it just looked like you dangled a piece of pizza in front of me and I died. Get that shit away from me.
I assume the rabbits are maybe rabbits don't
Yes,
eat cheese,
back
right?
to what you were saying. Like storytelling and wrestling go hand in hand, and I wrote The Cape is Alive just based on superheroes in the pro wrestling because it is heroes, it's cows versus capes, and it's like I wanted that story to be like that. What if pro heroes were what if superheroes were like pro wrestling?
Yeah, just the simple ability to do evolution within a story of loss, and you climb up and left button.
All right, sorry, I didn't know what button was. I tried a lot of buttons there, Gibby.
It tells you what
I
button to
didn't.
press above my head. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I wasn't.
But yeah, like there's so much you can learn from professional wrestling because they have to manage an endless cycle of the same arc, basically. So they've had to get creative with that shit.
Yeah. Please tell me you watched that show that was on Netflix. It was the Al Snow's version of OVW. It was just called Wrestlers.
I think I watched a couple
such
episodes, but
good. Like Mr. Spectacular. Come on.
Nice.
All right, we have defeated the Shredder, certainly for good. I doubt we'll ever see him again.
He'll never return.
Never return.
Oh,
Oh,
God
shit.
damn, he's right there.
All right, so Casey and Shredder are immortal. Are all humans immortal in this world? Did we rabbit animals get fucked?
You mutants.
The good news is you're half turtle now. The bad news, no longer immortal. Wait, that's not good news.
That's terrible news all
I'd
around.
rather be human than immortal.
All right, everybody. Well, that will do it for this round of Adventure Brodeo. Thank you so much for joining us as we played Turtles and talked smack about, I guess, the media industry in general. I don't know. We
Yeah,
want more
me
good
right.
books and shows. Until next time, bye.
Bye.